German sips with a grin so wide. Pogs on the table can't hide his pride. Creator in the corner starts to glare. Madness sparks and hate fills the air. Stack 'em high, a tower of luck. Germans winning, it feels like pluck. Alice Matt's fury, a brewing storm. Visions of pogs in every form. Pogs are spinning, tables turning. Alice Matt's eyes with fierce fire burning. Germans' laughter echoes loud in a world that's pog-bound proud. Matt sees and he's mad insane. Eyes on fire, can't take the strain. Pogs and pieces drive him to pain. His patience snapping like an old chain. And he's mad insane. Eyes on fire, can't take the strain. Pogs and pieces drive him to pain. His patience snapping like an old chain. Du bist nie gewinnen, Entenmann. Du bist nie gewinnen, Entenmann. Alas, mud fumes can't take no more. Pogs and slammers hit the floor. It's not about the game you see. It's about what fun could be. Du bist nie gewinnen, Entenmann. Du bist nie gewinnen, Entenmann. Du bist nie gewinnen, Entenmann. Du bist nie gewinnen, Entenmann.
You stole my heart, you intercepted it. Now you're gone, have to accept it. Did I meet your mom too soon? Or did I do what I always do? Yeah, we made it to the 50, and then you kissed me. We made it to the 40, a new love story. We made it to the 30, and you did me dirty right then. You put the end in tight end, and as I touched down, just like you in a game, I'm in another town, and nothing feels the same. Wish I could go back when we met that day. Oh, whoa, and throw a flag on the play.
Good evening. I know last week we didn't have a Monster Monday moratorium because I had some things to take care of, and actually it was regarding the book Beast, Citizen, Road Warrior, Drake. I had to get some of the files finalized for printing, so I said, you know what, I'll go Monday without. I really want to get some of this stuff sent to the print shop just to get, at the very least, some proofs in time. So I said I'd make it up for today's show, and we're starting to get people in now on the stream. So I just see KSS spamming my chat because 3 weeks ago, we did a poll on what the next stream was going to be about, and Razorback won. But here's the thing: the Chinese Ghost Story won before that, and a lot of y'all wasn't into it. And I'm like, you know what? I gotta pick the movies that I think are going to be good, and especially I got to pick the movies that I want to talk about. And I'm pretty sure that the movies that I want to talk about, you guys want to talk about too. So we're not doing a Monster Pig movie. We're doing the 1931 classic, the iconic version of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with Frederick March. And that's what we're going to do today. So, so KSS, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I let you down by not reviewing a pig movie. But let's be honest, I don't think a lot of people were interested in that one. It just, I got the vibe at that time nobody was interested. Just like when we voted in the poll in the chat for Chinese Ghost Story, and when we finally did the stream, nobody seemed interested. Nobody was really into it. Not into the stream, but into the movie. With reasons, by the way, because these kind of streams are meant for monster movies. And Chinese Ghost Story, albeit yes, it was a horror supernatural, but it was also comedic, also mysticism, all that stuff. So it didn't really feel like an actual monster movie per se. And a lot of people were kind of let down by that. So you can demand justice all you want, cuss. You can demand it. But I gotta do what's best for the stream and what's best for you know, what's best for the chat and what constitutes an excellent type of movie that will get the engagement going. Am I still shadow banned? I'm not sure, but I will tell you this on person. My channel has been growing in the last few months. I've been doing more edited videos, and I actually want to do another one soon, like maybe this week. But I've been gaining subs, legit organic subs based on the content I'm uploading. So I guess I've kind of not conquered the shadow ban, but I think I am successfully fighting against it. So, but I like the shadow ban name, so I'm keeping it. There you go. Dr. Jekyll is the better movie, and this is the best version. I would have, just been allowed to rewatch this movie. I don't know what you said, but you can rewatch it. As a matter of fact, I'm hoping the stream will encourage you to want to rewatch it, because I got plenty to say about it. Wait, which comment? Some person? Oh, I gotta open up the stream on my YouTube now. Damn it! Why do I gotta do all the hard work? I'm supposed to be the streamer. You're supposed to do all the work for me, people. Let me see. Let me find a comment, and I will unblock it. Okay, I don't see it, so I guess it was just automatically. It was proactively removed. Oh, I switched to live chat. Okay, yes, I should do that. I guess, right? Let's see. No, I don't see it there. I guess YouTube just didn't allow it. So it was a proactive deletion by YouTube. It didn't allow it. So I guess whatever you was typing, I guess space out the letters so that you can escape the Google evasion. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you that, but I just said it anyway. So you would have liked to? Well, you're gonna love it now after I review it here. You're never gonna enjoy it. And I had not seen it until today, and I got plenty to talk about with that movie. People are starting to come in now to the stream, so shout out to those of you that are coming in watching it. You know those George Floyd murals? Oh, that's what. Okay, that's what YouTube. Yes, yes. Okay, that's probably why Google didn't want you to say that. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. I've been getting some British Day letters, and now I got this one here doing night letter. Well, she hasn't done a light letter because she's doing all of her terrorism in my DM group, which was meant as a home to my fans and customers, but they use it as a denizen of spears and burning crosses against me. It just doesn't end. But yes, last week we didn't have a Monster Moratorium, but we're having one now. And this week for Indie Comic Outliers, I got a special guest lined up for us. So we're going to have a nice, fun show for Thursday. And I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to the barrage of content that I've been bringing in the last few weeks. This past Saturday, we did the boring Community Draw stream with the Mighty Golden Patriot with our special guest, Wanger, who's got superhero funding on my comic. And we had a good turnout, good engagement, and the feedback has been good. So I'm very encouraged and excited by the feedback that we've been getting for these streams, and sticking to my commitment of making these streams full of good replayable content and just things that'll just either edify you or motivate you. And that's why, Carol, I'm not crying. You heard me talking positive, right? I'm having a conversation with you people. You hear this, right? I am not being negative. I'm being positively strong. You think you're gonna bring me down, but it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna work today at all. Wait, why are you hiding elasma? Did your head get more peanut shaped? Oh no, I just didn't turn the camera on. But look, I got nothing to hide. See, this is me. This is me. That is you. Here I am. Since I got the camera on, when I was a kid back in elementary school in our public library, there was a few books in the library that I loved that I always made sure to rent out every time it was available. One of these books was Thomas G. Ellsworth's Movie Monsters. By the way, I wonder how this is coming out because it looks clear on my end here. Yeah, it's clear. Perfect. Okay. So, Movie Monsters by Thomas J. Ellsworth. This is a classic. This was published in, what was it published in? Let's see. It was published in 1976. Oh, the first printing was 1976. It's probably had a couple printings since then, but this was from 1976. And I remember back in 1985, 86, in the public library, they had this for rent. So I made sure to take it out whenever I could. And this was my introduction to a lot of the classic horror movies and science fiction movies. It has a good section on each monster. So, for example, it has a section on, where is it? On King Kong, right? There's a section on Godzilla. I specifically took this book out because of Godzilla. I mean, back then there wasn't a lot of material available to a kid about Godzilla and other giant monsters. So when you saw a book like this, you wanted to make sure to grab it. Of course, the Gill Man, right? Let's see, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, right? So it's got a section on the Wolfman, and the Mummy. It's a picture of the Boris Karloff mummy, which I didn't particularly like. And there's my beautiful Lady Shadow Man, whose lady coughs a lot tonight. She's doing pretty better. Still not in the clear. She's got some coughing fits, but she's doing. Otherwise, she's doing better than the last couple of days. Here's the Fly. This is a picture from the Return. The Return. The Son of the Fly, which is a sequel to the '58 David Hedison movie. And then there's Dracula. Bela Lugosi's Dracula. So okay, it says I last night and I checked out the same books when we were kids. We were like brothers, except I'm a year older and I'm white. And the last night, let's be. I'm not reading that, Cass. I'm not reading that. You be nice to me. You be nice to me. Here's a picture from London After Midnight, which is with Lon Chaney, which is a Lost movie, the Holy Grail of Lost films. London After Midnight. Let's see, and then ultimately, this section was where I first learned about today's character, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and this book goes into the various incarnations of the character as portrayed in various films. The John Barrymore version right here, that's Mr. Hyde, John Barrymore, and this picture right here, which I want to show it in a different tab, but this is Frederick March in the version of Jekyll and Hyde that we're going to be reviewing. Let me go ahead and share the screen. Let me take my camera off for a second so you guys don't have to see my ugly face because you hate my face, even though I bring you loves. I did.
Well, Carol is making fun of it.
Well, you need to deal with Carol because she's a harasser. There. I blew my lady Shadow Man a kiss. So, but yeah, that is Frederick March as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Although he's actually referred to as Dr. Jekyll in this movie. Now, I believe this was the first sound version of Jekyll and Hyde. And Kay says, I hate the Spencer Tracy, Dr. Jekyll and Hyde. Yeah, that one was very tame. That was very tame. Conversely, though, this version was very spicy. And this is because in 1931, there was no code in Hollywood. So there was no way to, like, censor movies and cut movies out and prevent them from putting in certain kinds of material. Just to be blunt, this movie definitely experimented with a lot of sexuality. And one of the main characters is a prostitute, and she does use her sexuality to entice Dr. Jekyll in this movie, or as he's known, Dr. Jekyll. And like I said, I believe this was the first sound version of the movie because there was a couple of silent versions of Jekyll and Hyde, but this was the first sound version, and that might explain why he's called Jekyll. So I'm thinking maybe all of us decades later have been pronouncing the character's name wrong, it may not be Dr. Jekyll, it might be Dr. Jekyll. And when I heard it, I'm like, wait, are they pronouncing it differently? And I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute, maybe we were wrong. Maybe we were wrong. Maybe we were pronouncing it wrong. Shout out to Angela Curry. Hey, Angela, welcome to the stream. How you doing? So, yeah, so they call him Dr. Jekyll. And I'm thinking that is how his name is pronounced. It's amazing. It's amazing how, when you look at these old time movies, how they speak. And when I was watching it with Lady Shadowband, she was asking me about the way they were speaking. Like, how come they're talking that way? And I was talking to her about I think it's called the transatlantic English. Let me see, transatlantic. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, transatlantic accent. It's a thing. So transatlantic accent. That's a when American and British, it's American and British English mixed together to help create a theatrically stylized version of speech. And it was pretty popular in the 30s and 40s. So when you look at these old time movies and you see how they speak, it is a made up version of English that they're speaking for the sake of theatrical performance and exaggeration. You can say exaggeration. Um, I was reading it. So fun fact: yeah, Jekyll pronounced Jekyll is the way Robert Louis Stevenson pronounced it. That's what I figured because 1931 it was closer to when Stevenson wrote the book. So I'm like, yeah, I think that's how they pronounce it. We've been wrong all these years. It is Jekyll. So that is an interesting fact. It was a play on Hyde and Seek, and he was Scottish, and that's how it's pronounced there in the 1880s. Yeah, it's funny because I again when I watched this movie and I heard the name, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I think that's how they pronounced it, and we just over the years just changed it. So it is Jekyll, not Jekyll. But unfortunately, without that bit of knowledge and tidbit, it gets lost. So there's only room for one weirdo, and that's me. Well, that's selfish of you, Tim. There's room for plenty of weirdos. Weirdoism is something that's shared to a community. I'm just saying. Transatlantic, Carol. Transatlantic. That's what it's called. Transatlantic. Transatlantic English. Gosh. I can't teach, right? I can't expound wisdom to you people without you bringing your fights and your harassment in here every time. Every time. It's the only women that watch this show, says Violent Comics. Well, I can't help it. I'm a charmer. That's why Lady Shadowband loves me so much. I just am. Let's see here. Let's go down to the chat. I might go into no. I didn't see a suggestion for next Tuesday. I'm trying to talk and I'm trying to look at the chat, but I can't do every single chat. So maybe if I miss your comment, type it again and I'll probably read it. But if I don't read it, just super chat it. Also, I promise I will get to as best as I can. But Carol, Jerkle. Oh, you're so intelligent. You're so smart, Carol. Oh, you're so witty and amazing and artistic and inspiring. I bet you thought that by yourself, right, Curl? Right, Curl? See, I can butcher names too. Curl. That your name is Curl. Wait, why am I acting this way? I shouldn't be acting this way. I should be inspired to talk more. I should be inspired to talk more. So let me talk some more. So actually, let me diminish my camera here for a second. I don't like I can't do that thing. Oh, well, never mind. Okay. Well, let me just continue on. So this book from 1976 was the holy grail for many of us, and it was here that I learned about the various versions of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And as someone in the chat earlier mentioned, the Spencer Tracy version was not the best version. And I kind of figured that when I look at these pictures, this is Spencer Tracy from Dr. Jekyll or Jekyll down to Mr. Hyde, right? So you can see like in Tracy's version, it was a little makeup just applied on the eyes to create the illusion of Jekyll of Mr. Hyde. But compare that with the Frederick March version right there. And the transformation is astounding for its time. It definitely predates the fading shots from Wolfman. which showed Lawrence Talbot transforming from man to wolf. The same technique was applied here, but it was applied first because it was 1931 versus 1940. But the makeup, you could tell, was definitely there was a lot of thought in the makeup, and they added some appliances to expand the nostrils. They gave him a set of fake fangs. They added a brow appliance with some hair and gave him some a wig or whatever to make him look ape like. When I was watching with Lady Shadowband, she was like, "How can he looks like kind of like a monkey?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think that was intentional. I think there was definitely a an intent to make him ape like." So it was a means to make him look animalistic. And she asked me, "What separated Mr. Hyde from Doctor Jekyll from Mr. Hyde?" And I said to her, "Well, Mr. Hyde is he's a free spirit. He's loose sexually, he's loose violent, he has no moral compass. He does what he wants. And because of that, that makes him pretty chaotic. And as a result, it makes him murderous, lecherous. In every sense of the word, he's a monster. In every sense of the word. The makeup is astounding in this movie. For 1931, it definitely puts the Spencer Tracy version to shame. Some person says Jekyll sounds dumb. It should be Jekyll. I mean, to me, it's spelled like Jekyll. Like I naturally pronounce it as Jekyll, but somehow that's how it was pronounced when it was written by Robert Louis Stevenson. It was pronounced Jekyll. As KSS said earlier, he's Scottish, so he pronounced it with a Scottish accent, and that's how it's pronounced. But it's not spelled that way in our modern English vernacular, so it's organically and immediately pronounced, or as it appears to be pronounced, as Jekyll. But make no bones about it, we're pronouncing it wrong. It really is Jekyll. So it really is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So, we're pronouncing it wrong, but who's going to correct it now? It's such a big part of the zeitgeist that we pronounced it wrong that any sense to change it is just folly because we recognize it and we're comfortable with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Wait, the pixels is doing anything again? Oh, F you care. I'm looking at it right now. It looks pretty good. So don't you start with me right now. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Don't you start. Don't you start. You have the face of a celebrity. Marty Film. Aha! 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 For those who know Marty Feldman is, Marty Feldman was the what was he was parodying uh the Hunchback from Young Frankenstein. Mel Brooks' Young Frankenstein. That's Marty Feldman, the little guy with the cross-eyed. Just cool, says Vine Comics. Just cool. The Key from 1983. Let me see how this goes, Tim. I have to I have to go with my gut and what I think is going to get the chat engaged right now. Good horror movies that stood the test of time and help us appreciate the art form. I think those movies I want to lean towards, especially like the classic or older ones. As we go further out into the 60s up to the 80s. So I wasn't feeling the Monster Pig movie. I'm sorry, I wasn't feeling it. I was really more interested in the Jekyll and Hyde movie because A, I hadn't seen it, and B, what I have read about it has been positive, and I'm like, yeah, I'm fascinated by it. And of course, seeing the pictures of Frederick March as Mr. Hyde, I'm like, yeah, I want to see that version because the makeup alone looks pretty good. So, a couple of things technically about the movie. First of all, the movie has a lot of like the wipes fade when it goes from like scene to scene. Instead of like fade to black or fade in out, it does the wipe. Like if you remember Star Wars, like how it has that screen wipe, there's a version of that in this movie. It's not as fluid as it was decades later, but it's there and it serves a narrative purpose. In some shots where you see a split screen and it seems to make some kind of like connection there. So I thought that was interesting. Also, the movie opens up with a point of view shot from Dr. Jekyll, and it reminded me of the opening of Halloween when we see the opening, the point of view of Michael Myers as a boy, right up to when he stabs his sister. It kind of brought that to mind. So I was like, oh, it's an interesting technique, the whole uh point of view shot. So I thought that was fascinating that they did that. So, and I appreciate those the type of film techniques because it's just it's experimental for 1931. It's very experimental, and I'd have to say that it was a joy watching it. It was a joy watching it, and I appreciate the technical marvel of it. So, and for 1931, especially with the pre-code, and I'll talk about the pre-code stuff in a second. KSS says the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde film was more inspired by the stage plays, but the early stage plays were actually influenced by the Jack the Ripper murders of 1888. Funny you say that because number one, as I was watching this movie, it actually felt like I was watching a stage play. Less of a movie, more of a stage play. Yeah, and I know I caught that especially in one scene when Mr. Hyde was entering his fiance's house, and it almost looked like it was an actual theatrical production that we was watching, just shot for this presentation. So there's a lot of that. But then again, a lot of the silent movies and even like the talkies during that time, they really were just stage plays, just you know manufactured for film. So let's see here. And I'll talk about the Jack the Ripper stuff in a second because I see exactly what you mean there. Yeah, you can find the Keep or Jekyll and Hyde, Tim. Which one? I don't know what you're talking about. I like your sarcastic laugh. This works for you. Oh look, it's Ein Prime of the Fact Circle. They're here. Well, hello. The Keep from '83, the solid horror. Okay, well I got two so. So Ein Prime says, did he just say Jekyll and Hyde, not Jekyll and Hyde? So Ein Prime, I guess you weren't here for the first 2 minutes, but in the 1931 Jekyll and Hyde movie, they actually pronounced his name Jekyll. And as Kaz has earlier pointed out, the pronunciation of Jekyll is the actual pronunciation because Robert Louis Stevenson was Scottish, and that's how he pronounced the name of the character. So it actually is Jekyll and Hyde. So you learned something by me. Thank you. What the fuck? What do you mean 2000 internet? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't have 2000 internet. Stop lying. I'm good. 1931. Ein Prime of the Fact Circle. 1931. Oh, look who's here. Oh, look, the guy with the British name. Oh, wait, I forgot to play his intro. Yeah, I know what you did. I know what you did. I know what you did. I know what you did, Jabba. Don't act like you don't. Don't act like you don't know. I seen what you did, and I documented it for all to see. For all to see. So I'm glad now that the community has seen it, because I'm not crazy. All I do is I exist. All I do is just I'm here to inspire the community. That's all I do. But no, you have to come in here and harass and destroy and maim and murder. But it's okay. It's okay because I feel stronger now. I feel stronger, and I'm more intelligent than ever. So, wait, what comment did I skip? You guys gotta understand. I have to skip a few because I had to keep the stream running. So I will highlight whatever I can, and I'll make sure that everybody's included. But I may not highlight every single comment.
You can always send a super chat.
Well, that is true. You can always send a super chat too. So there you go. But yeah. So as you can see, like we're breaking some misconceptions about the Jekyll and Hyde story and the Jekyll and Hyde lore. Okay, it says I actually feel bad. I had to look at my collected works of Robert Louis Stevenson. What can I say? I read Treasure Island and The Strange. Well, there you go. So there you go. But earlier, it was talked about not the comparison, the allusion to the Jack the Ripper murders. And if you don't know the story of Jack the Ripper was a guy who was a serial killer, allegedly, because they never caught the alleged Jack the Ripper. And there's been a lot of theories over the years about who Jack the Ripper was, or alleged to have been. Some people have alleged that it wasn't one guy, but it was a group of murderers who committed similar style murderers. Some even have gone as far as to say that it was a secret society thing, hence Alan Moore's From Hell graphic novel, which became a movie directed by the Hughes brothers starring Johnny Depp. So a lot of theories about who or what Jack the Ripper was, if he even existed. That being said, there is an illusion. Huh?
He existed.
Well, allegedly, because they never found. No,
he existed.
we don't know.
Yeah,
He may have. He may have. But we don't know because they never caught him, and they never had any actual solid evidence of him actually existing, other than some people who said that this was a guy who was committing these murders, and they're all the same, and they assumed it was this one guy. So.
Serial killer that didn't get caught. That's literally all he is. Doesn't mean he didn't exist. It means
Somebody was committing these murders, and it was attributed to a character named Jack the Ripper, but they never found the guy.
Okay.
They never.
If they had never caught Ted Bundy, those people would still be dead.
No. Right.
Yes, serial killer profile. All
Right.
killed the same. Someone's killing all the same guy's killing all these people. These deaths are all the same. We just haven't caught him, but they caught him. Therefore, we have Ted Bundy. We just didn't catch Jack the Ripper.
If he existed, because we don't know.
He existed. Oh my god!
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying nobody's ever seen him. That's why these theories exist.
On stream on these nights. Don't make me talk anymore.
That's why these theories
He
exist.
existed.
Oh wait, we got a comment here from some person. I saw that photo of one of Jack the Ripper's victims. God damn. Yeah, so his victims were mostly prostitutes. So that led to the theory. That led to the theory that it was a secret society that was doing the murders, because secret societies have been alleged to have had ties with sex societies and prostitutes and all that stuff. So that's led to that theory there. So let's see here. What's going on more? Let's see. So Henry Ruby says, okay, his final murders, a double event, were the most brutal. He was probably interrupted while committing one murder, got frustrated, and took his time on his to Mary Kelly. It was brutal. Yeah, there's a reason why the has stayed within the public fascination. I was going crazy. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, I'm about to jack my therapy dog. So let's see here. Scroll down more. Yeah, I didn't expect the conversation to go into Jack the Ripper, but it's fascinating because it was 1931 wasn't that far from when Jack the Ripper stuff was happening, so it was probably still fresh in the minds of people at the time. So I got a fascist Kirkland. I love a comfy Nasher stream. I don't know if I call the stream comfy, but I'll accept it. Sure. KSS says most profiles agree that the letters signed Jack the Ripper were hoaxes started to papers. The killer probably never called himself that. Thus, Jack the Ripper technically didn't exist. So there definitely was a killer. And Jack the Ripper, that name was given by people on the external because they needed to label the killer just so that we had a centralized person to attribute the murders to. So it became a thing of fascination by the public. So that's why they called him Jack the Ripper. It was speaking of which, there was an episode of DuckTales. I don't know if you guys remember, where they were chasing a character called Jack the Tripper. It was a play off the Jack the Ripper legend, but instead of killing the females, he would just trip them. Hence, Jack the Tripper. Yes, I said that, and it happened too. So see, scroll at here. I thought they believed one of them was authentic because it included a piece of one victim's lives or liver or kidney. Yeah, this is definitely we're entering very grisly territory here. Okay, from what I heard, it says Iron Prime, Jack the Ripper was found out, but he was Oive. Oh, okay. I didn't hear that, so maybe that's why. Maybe there's some truth to that. So let's see. Let's see. Another theory. Tim Mullins says another theory is he might have gone to another country and started again. Possible. I mean, he maybe. So let's see. So Carol, so let me tell you how this works, Carol. How this works. So when we have a conversation about a movie and it does the topics like this because of an illusion put out by the movie, it's part of the conversation, and that's how the stream goes, and that's how the content fills the running time. Because it's all part of the conversation about a specific movie. In this case, with Jekyll and Hyde, his biggest fascination or his target is a woman who's a prostitute. She's a woman that early on tries to seduce Dr. Jekyll. And I think the name of Ivy Pearson, that's the name of the hooker who tries to seduce Hyde. And not Hyde, Jack Jekyll. She tries to seduce Jekyll, and of course, when Jekyll becomes Hyde, he inherits Jekyll's memories and he remembers Ivy. So there's a couple of scenes that are kind of brutal regarding Hyde and Ivy. The way he assaults, and you don't see the actual assault, but it's heavily implied. And also the way he just talks to her and verbally abuses her, it's kind of tough, I'll say. It can be tough. Not for me, but like there's some people that will see scenes like that, and it's just the way it's heavily implied can be kind of triggering. So there is a warning there. The scenes involving Hyde assaulting Ivy can be triggering. It was done, believe it or not, it was done tastefully, but still, it can be triggering. So let me catch up on the chat here. Let's see here. Okay, so KSS says Prime is right. There is evidence that Jack indeed was white. The area of Whitechapel where the murder happened was heavily Jewish immigrants, and a witness wouldn't testify against a fellow Jew. So, hey, it's possible. You know, I wouldn't deny it. It's quite possible. Tim Wells says seems to be a metaphor for too much control versus very little control over oneself. That's exactly what the Jekyll and Hyde story is about. And as I explained to Lady Shadowband, like what set Hyde apart from Jekyll, aside from the visual differences, is that Hyde had no self-control. Hyde was very loose, a free spirit. He had no moral compass, hence he could do whatever he wanted to, and there was no conscience to eat him up. There was no holding back. He didn't have any guilt, so he could murder if he wanted to. He could sexually assault if he wanted to. He could indulge, fight, drink, any of those things he could do, and he didn't have a care in the world about its consequences. And that's what made him a monster. So, yes, I cut my phone sound. I did it. It's done. So, do they have his DNA? Did they have Jack the Ripper's DNA? I mean, I don't trust them because I don't trust what they tell you. Because they could have caught if the guy really was who they say it was, they could have caught him. But it seems to be kind of I tend to believe this theory that he was protected. Whoever this killer was or killers, they definitely were protected. Or he was protected. But unlike the movie, though, I mean, unlike real life, Hyde was not protected. Hyde was definitely viewed as a monster, In the movie, his actions were viewed with the test, contempt. So when his actions were recorded, or not recorded, but when they were documented and people were testifying of it, they were they would try to look for him. So
Says they did.
Timon says they used DNA evidence to produce an identity of a killer, and might have been a Hungarian immigrant that they had in custody. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. I enjoy comfy. Wait, didn't I just read this comment? Did you just repeat the comment, Fascist Kirk? Did you repeat the comment? Yeah, you did. You did. Send me a link. Send me a link. Okay. All right. So yeah, there was definitely a heavily morality play with the movie, and Hyde was definitely seen as a vision of evil, a vision of immorality, allusions to the devil as well. So it is definitely a good versus evil story. And definitely they totally took advantage of the pre-code freedom that the movies back then had. And it's very obvious in the scene featuring the prostitute where when she tries to seduce Dr. Jekyll, there was actually one shot when she embraces him and you can see the side of her breast. I'm like, oh wow, that is very, very risque for 1931. But there was no code back then. There was no censorship laws in place. So they were able to do that. And there's actually some websites out there that you can look up that goes over a list of pre-code movies. And it's fascinating what stuff they got away with in terms of both sexually and violence. The stuff they got away with. So Henry's like, I like how Lasbeck keeps trying to bring it back to Jekyll and Hyde, and we keep dragging it back to Jack the Ripper. Well, here's the thing, Henry. These movies, and you kind of allude to something that's always been a thing with horror movies, is they are tied to real life events. Whether it's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and how that and Psycho were tied to Ed Gein, or Godzilla was tied to the nuclear bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Jekyll and Hyde definitely have those allusions to the Jack the Ripper prostitute killings. So it's an interesting conversation. And this is why I like reviewing the classic horror movies tends to have a deeper conversation, is because you can see the illusions of real life in these movies. And you get a little history lesson and it adds further context to why the movies had the impact they had during their time when they were made. Hays Code, more like Gays Code. Yeah, so the Hays Code is the code that was passed in Hollywood in the mid 30s to help movies diffuse the amount of sex and violence they were showing back then. One of the best examples of the comparisons in the pre-code and post-code movie is Frankenstein 1931 and Bride of Frankenstein 1935. The first Frankenstein movie had scenes of the creature killing a kid. There was gruesome scenes in the cemetery. Definitely a bit more on the violent side. Then you get to Bride of Frankenstein, and you could tell that some of the stuff has been toned down with the violence and the sexuality. But great movie though either way, but you could definitely tell difference in tone. So Lady Shadowban, or Lady Coughslot, she says that Jack the Ripper was a 23-year-old Polish immigrant named Aaron Kaminsky, who died in a mental institute in 1919. So she's saying that he was a barber and one of the original suspects. Let me look him up. Let's look him up. Oh, actually, she did send me an article. Let me see. So I guess we could look it up for a second.
It was just came out in February this year, so just a few months ago.
Okay, so let's see. So apparently this is new information. People magazine. So Jack the Ripper researcher who claims, okay, so this is not even verified, but he claims to have identified the serial killer with a DNA match, seeks quote unquote closure. So let's see it. Let's look it up. Let us explore together, guys. So Russell Edwards claims Aaron Kaminsky, a Polish barber, is a serial killer, though some people doubt his evidence. Let's see the evidence. One of the biggest serial killer mysteries of all time, the identity of Jack the Ripper, has finally been solved according to a British researcher who is now seeking legal confirmation on behalf of a victim's family. So he hasn't gotten confirmation yet. Over a century after he murdered and mutilated London women in 1888, the long mythologized killer's identity has allegedly been confirmed by DNA found on a shawl, historian Russell Edwards said. Edwards claimed that Aaron Kaminsky, a Polish barber who was 23 at the time of the murders, is the Ripper based on what he said is 100% match with DNA found on the entire piece, he told Today Australia in a February 1st interview. Kaminsky was a suspect in the original investigation, but was never arrested. Okay, so he had some ties to the crime itself, in terms of his name being brought up as a suspect, but he was never arrested. Now, the show that ultimately incriminated Kosminski, per the researcher, was taken from the scene of Catherine Edo's 1888 murder in London's Meter Square, which later came into Edwards' possession in 2007. Edo's was the fourth of 5 women whose deaths were linked to a single killer believed to be the Ripper. Here's a magazine about Jack the Ripper from 1888. This is something this is something good for the indie comic outliers. But so this is a magazine from a newspaper article from 1888 about the Jack the Ripper killings. Okay, let's see here. I don't read the whole article. Let me just try to get some relevant pieces to it. So let's see here. So it says Kaminsky had schizophrenia and was admitted to an asylum. So there's that. Let's see here. Let's go down more. Okay. I think I did. I already touched on that. But having schizophrenia and being admitted to an asylum.
Well, that his occupation was a barber or barber surgeon, as it was called at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Further points to him fitting the.
Yeah. I mean, that's not, to me. That's not circumstantial. The circumstantial part is the DNA on that the article clothing they found.
They were also saying that the person who committed the murders had anatomical knowledge, which he would have had.
Okay. Well, anyway, so let's see. Okay, and then there was an 1891 document that named Kaminsky a strong suspect. Okay, so there's that too. Research also said that the barber had strong homicidal tendencies and was prone to solitary vices and auditory hallucinations. Okay. All right, so what it looks like is you have all the circumstantial stuff that may tie him to it, but what it boils down to is the DNA that is purportedly in the possession of this researcher. He says with 100% conviction that the DNA does match Jack the Ripper, but so far it hasn't been verified by outside sources yet. So we still don't have any concrete proof other than this DNA that may or may not be this guy's. We don't know yet. So let me see what the chat says. Yeah, Freaks is another great pre-code film. Brilliant movie. It's a movie that won't get made today because people are too sensitive. But it's a great movie, and maybe I'll talk about it on the stream. Maybe, because I don't know if it would fit the theme of the stream. It's a horror movie, but I don't know if it'll be that kind of movie that we would put on the stream. But maybe. Okay, so KSS says Lady coughs a lot. They actually don't know that for sure. The Aaron Kaminsky stuff doesn't quite add up to the facts. So KSS, can you allude more to that? Let me hear more about that because I'm learning about this for the first time. So tell us more because he says he's got the DNA, but no one has been able to verify that DNA yet. Even the article says that. So I hate horror films. Reality is glorifying enough, says Fascist Cook. Fair, that's fair. I mean, there is the real life horror is satanic, especially when you read about like the trafficking, human trafficking or child trafficking. Oh goodness, you don't get more horrific than that. Okay, it says the DNA is BS. The researcher is a known fraud. Well, there you go. Okay, interesting. Okay, so you know more about this then. Okay, I didn't know that. All right, yeah, as I'm saying, like I kind of question any kind of DNA that's been preserved hundreds of years later. It's like you're missing certain pieces that can glue things together 100%. Not like if it was something that was done recently and you could tie it in recently. So I don't know. I That's just me, but you're saying that the researcher is a fraud. So
Like Kaya says, if they come back and confirm it, I expect a spa day from you.
well, there you go. Okay, so she says if they confirm that she's right, you owe her spa day. So oh, KSS says he's been claiming this for decades. The shawl cannot be verified as belonging to the victim. Oh, so that's the thing too. Like you have to verify that the shawl belongs to the actual victim, not just hearsay. Interesting, interesting stuff. Okay, Flunchcast in the chat. What's up, Flunchcast? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. So good to see you here, hanging out. Um, oh, the mood of hell who stood me up says, "Sorry, I can't be here tonight. Razorback gave me diarrhea, typhus, and whatever the lucky Rocky Dennis had. Whatever the fuck Rocky Dennis had. That, sir, is called Elephant Man disease. Elephant Man disease. And
I want to say that the movie
yeah.
had a Jack the Ripper vibe.
Well, that's why it came up because of that. So, it's been
Yeah.
that kind of real life horror does not always have a plot or reason, says Tim Olson. That's why it's. I think that's why people like horror movies is because you can control the horror in movies, but not in real life. Man, believe it. Okay, see, Jekyll and Hyde talks about the duality of man. The thing with the Jekyll and Hyde story is it says man has a good side and it has a bad side. I will how can I put this? I will put it out there and I will state that man as a whole is evil. And that's actually a biblical point of view is mankind is evil. Mankind only knows how to steal, hurt, murder, you name it. We cannot have a fair government under the rule of man. Because even if a fair government is ever established, it takes one election or one political circumstance to undo that, and the corruption enters, and there's no rooting out the corruption without a legit filtering. And you know what kind of filter I'm talking about. But yeah, man as a whole is evil. And if you don't think so, look no further than the child trafficking. That is global. It is. People look at like the Chris Hansen shows, How to Catch a Predator. They look at those and they're like, "Oh wow, you got these child predators out there." They don't realize that these people are working for the child predators. They're in bigger positions of power, and no Chris Hansen can take those people down because they're the ones that are establishing your laws, taking your money out of your checks for taxes. They're out there, and they're in bigger, more influential positions than you realize. So yeah, to me, mankind is a horrifying monster that is far worse than anything you could portray in movies. Let's see it. Okay, it says the mitochondrial DNA analysis used in the study has limitations as it cannot definitively identify an individual and is susceptible to contamination. Yeah, I mean, you can't properly preserve DNA hundreds of years later. I believe that. You can't do that. It's impossible unless you have some kind of like cryogenic chamber where it was preserved from oxygen and all that stuff. It's gonna get corrupted, and once DNA is corrupted, you can't trust it. So, Manicore's in the chat. He says, "Hail the chat. Hail the chat. Being nice to me for once." Oh, look, Brown CBR says, "I finished setting up my hacker keyboard. Now I can hack many routers with MS Paint real fast." Well, there you go, guys. If you mess with KSL, okay, so if you mess with Brown CBR, he will hack your router because he's a master. He's a master or two of MS Paint. So don't screw with him. Plunchcast says, "I have the From Hell Alan Moore graphic novel. I actually hate real crime-based horror movies based around serial killers. I always think it glorifies them. I like fictional horrors instead." Well, that's an interesting point of view. I'm not the biggest fan of serial killer movies because not because it glorifies it, but it's because I find it to be the cheapest form of horror movies. It's very easy to write a story about some dude with a knife and going after people. It's really cheap horror. And I remember when Wes Craven did Scream back in 1996 as a parody of that genre, and then the rest of Hollywood was like, "Oh look, it made a lot of money. Let's go make a series of slasher films." I'm like, "Oh crap, They're doing that same crap about a bunch of dull, soulless, unimaginative slasher films. Whether it's I know either last summer or Final Destination. Well, Final Destination wasn't a slasher film per se, but still, there was Wrong Turn. That was another one. So yeah, it led to a series of dull, uninspired slasher films. So yeah, I believe that. So, hey, let me catch up to the chat. Let me catch up to the chat. So let's see. No DNA in the late 1800s. Oh, last man. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't think society was as backwards as you would think back then. They had some kind of science, and I'm sure they had the ability to analyze DNA, not like we do today, but okay, right, okay. They used DNA evidence to produce an identity of a killer, and might have been Hungarian immigrant that they had in custody. Yeah, that we went over that. That was supposed to be Aaron Kosminski, but as KSS also put out there, the guy who claimed to have DNA is a known fraud. So there's questions about that. And so far, as of this article, no one has verified that DNA outside of this guy. So that's a question mark right there. So, oh, wait a second. I'm behind in the chat. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Helmut, the Muda House says, have I mentioned that I hate Razorback? And thanks. And then for anything Australian? Okay, except for St. Bancroft and the dingo who ate the cunts. Okay. Okay, you're trying to get me struck, Mood of Hell. I get it. I get it. You hate me that much and you want me erased from the internet. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Before DNA, it was a blood type, but they didn't have that yet. Yeah, it wasn't as sophisticated as it is now. So totally 100%. Great, definitely interesting conversation. Interesting conversation. So there's a possibility that Kosminski was confused with another Polish Jew, either Aaron or David Cohen, who was a violent patient at Coney Hatch Asylum and actually fits the profile much better. Okay, so case of mistaken identity. Case of mistaken identity. Fascist Kirk says, I'm so bored. I love you last month, but national streams are LOL. Well, I'll tell you what, Kirk. There's streams by some guys out there who spent hours bashing other creators, releasing private DMs, not getting their books done, and those streams get thousands of views. If you want to go head over there, by all means, have at it. I'm not doing that here. I'm trying to produce content that is art inspired, story inspired, having some conversations about some wonderful media that inspires our love to invest in good stories being told, fascinating stories being told. And if that only gives me 20 views, I'm good with that. Trust me, I am good with that. Because I don't want to deal with what does get 1,000 views. Because what gets 1,000 views or more is, in my opinion, BS. It may be fun, but it's chaotic and destructive. So I am good. Yes, what's
to the chat as to who outside of or this one, who their favorite Jekyll and Hyde transfer, like what their favorite transformation.
Well, they already said that. No, they already mentioned that earlier. Okay, no, I'll tell you. So they mentioned Spencer Tracy as their least favorite. They hate that version of it. Now I posited that I found the Frederick March Jekyll and Hyde transformation as superior, but what do you guys think? Do you have a favorite Jekyll and Hyde transformation? Let me see that in the chat. Let's see what you guys have to say in the chat. Lady, shut up, as she has. So, Colin Lamping, as you guys come up with answers. Colin says one of the better horror movies. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's definitely superior. Definitely superior in every sense of the word. So, the special effects were cool in this one. Yeah, the transformation was very good in this movie. Absolutely good. Reminded me of the Wolfman transformation, but I think this one did it better.
Some people might hate me for this, but I actually like the portrayal in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Okay, so she likes Lady Shut Up, and she likes the portrayal of Jekyll and Hyde in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
That's one of my favorites.
So,
but also the Netflix series Hang on.
Okay, so while she's looking for that, and I haven't seen League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I read the first half of the graphic novel, which I loved, but a lot of the fans of the graphic novel hated the movie, so I kind of like haven't watched the movie because of that. But I want to finish reading the graphic novel before I watch the movie. But Kaz says loves this version of Jekyll and Hyde the best. Yes, I agree.
The Umbrella Academy. The character there is a Jekyll and Hyde type. One of the characters in it, and I find that really good.
Okay, so Lady Shadowban, who watches Umbrella Academy, mentions a character that is an allusion to Jekyll and Hyde. So I haven't watched Umbrella Academy, so those of you that have, let me know if you see the same thing too. If you kind of feel that as well. Interesting for that. Just Plus, Gas says best transformation before CGI is the Howling series. Highly recommended. Oh, you know, absolutely, 100%. Best werewolf, in my opinion, best werewolf transformation. So yeah, totally. Tim Olsen says weeb. Weeb. Yeah, I definitely think she's a bigger weeb than me. She knows more anime than I. Well, I know anime from like the '90s and before that. Anything after the mid '90s, I kind of checked out in terms of anime. So things like My Hero Academia or even One Piece, I'm probably not too familiar with. And if I ever did, I had to spend a whole life because those things go on for years. So, but I'm sure Lady Shadowban knows more about that than I do. About anything anime post mid '90s. KSS says, if you love the comic, you're going to hate the movie League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. The movie was ass. A lot of people said that. A lot of people who have read the comic said the movie was garbage or just didn't like the movie. So that's why I want to finish reading the book before I watch the movie, if I ever get to watch the movie. I'm not really in a hurry to watch it, but I've heard the same thing from a lot of people that they were disappointed with the movie. So
I'm gonna pull back my Umbrella Academy one. I was mistaken. Let's stick with Lee.
yeah. Okay, Lady Shadowban retracts her Umbrella Academy allegory, so she wants that off the record. So there you go. Jason Fleming was a good Edward Hyde in League. Okay. So scroll down more to the chat. Try to keep it focused. I like the conversation about Jack the Ripper because it's just good information, good content. This is shit I didn't even know about. So hail the chat. Hail for bringing this up. Hail to the 15 that are watching. The 15 that just want to chill, have fun, get inspired, and don't care about the childish high school drama that gets 1,000 views. Believe me, I'm good where I'm at. The Holland transformation was scary, but American Werewolf in London was the go. So yeah, it's a toss up between the two of them. You know, if you thought that one was better than the other, that's cool. And I have my personal favorite, but I in no way, shape, or form will tell you that you're wrong for saying the other one is better. It's one of those where it's like, you know, we can have our favorites. It's fine. Totally fine. Totally, absolutely fine. But I think this is the best Jekyll to Hyde transformation in any
Out of what you've seen.
right, out of what I've seen. Yeah, absolutely, out of what I've seen, I think it's the best one. But again, this is just my opinion. I'd like to hear what the chat thinks. So far, some of the people in the chat have said that they agree with this being the best version. But let's see what others have to say. Hail Lord Peanut Head, behold his peculiar shaped Okay, this is about Jekyll and Hyde, not body shaming me. Leave my head alone. You know, it's not my fault I was born into this world the way I was born into it. I was made this way. Out of my away and exempt from my blessings. So I can only be who I am because I am who I was made before I had a choice to be this way. Stop saying Jekyll. Listen, Henry. This is going to be a hard pill to swallow for some of you, because as I was watching this movie and they were calling him Jekyll, and even before Cassis confirmed it, I knew that okay, that's how they said his name back then because that's how it was actually meant to be pronounced. It really was meant to be pronounced Jekyll, and as Cassis confirmed it, Robert Louis Stevenson pronounced it Jekyll. So unfortunately, that's how you pronounce his name. This whole Jekyll business is a modern interpretation. You're caving into the SJWs, Henry Bemis. Time to get based again. It's Jekyll. Jekyll and Hyde. Let's be based together. Last night, you could do a team up with Bancroft. His forehead is huge. Listen, stop with the body shape. This is weird. It's weird for you people. What's wrong? My whole world is turned upside down. I know, Henry. I know. It's earth shattering to know that we've been saying his name wrong all these decades. But now that you know, you are in the elites. You are absolutely in the elite. So don't feel bad. Whatever you do, don't feel bad because you're in a very enviable spot. Join me as we continue to pronounce words correctly. Because words aren't hard. I don't care if some people in the circle say words aren't hard. I believe in you. I believe in you. So, Kaz says, I've been reading about Jack the Ripper case since 95. I remember watching the In Search of episode as a kid and it freaked me out. By 95, I was 17 and interested in history and criminal profiling. Well, that explains why you're always calling me a jerk. So, you docked yourself, just so you know. I didn't do it. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. But yeah, I learned something new today. And there was a time when I was actually, and I'm steering off the topic just a bit, but when I watched Young Guns 2 with Emilio Estevez, there was a short time where I was actually fascinated by the whole Billy the Kid legend. So, well, not legend, but I say legend in terms of like the stuff that was said about him. He did exist. He's a historical figure, but he has been romanticized over the decades. So I was interested to learn about Billy the Kid. So I did my own little minor research on the facts of Billy the Kid and Pat Garrett, the guy who killed him, allegedly killed him. So I totally get it. Like you read about one historical figure that's fascinating and sparks your interest, and you kind of want to go further into the depth of what is out there about him. And you, in your mind, you tend to be the guy that's going to go deeper than anyone else has to uncover information that really just blows all this shit out the water. I get it. Wait, what the heck is this? Jack the Stripper. How did you get in my chat? Okay, who is this guy and why is he in my chat? We're having fun here. We're not going to be harassed, intimidated by you people. Jack the Stripper. Doxing is the state of the CG world. That indeed it is. That indeed it is, and they can never live it down. So they can have that nonsense over there. 100%. I can go down the Billy the Kid thing too, and Doc Holliday and White Earp. I'm actually mentioned in books on the subject. Interesting. Very interesting. Will you ever do a stream on the classic monster Frankenhooker? Meh. No, not really. Not really. Not that Frankenhooker wasn't a cult classic, but I don't know. Like I don't think it had that much of a following like other movies, like say Basket Case did, or Dead Alive, or Evil Dead, like those movies did. So I don't know. I can't say for sure. I watched Frankenhooker when I was young, and I didn't really like it, so it wasn't really my cup of tea. So I walked right in, says Jack the Stripper. Well, you can walk right back out. Take your crimes with you. Take your crimes with you. So, hell, the chat says Meme Lord. Welcome, Meme Lord. Woodrow in the chat. Hail the chat. Hail the 17 that are watching that are here for inspiration and just chilling and learning about classic media. Classic media. I hope we'll finally talk about Phantom of the Opera, the Lon Chaney one. I do too. I would. I absolutely will. It's a movie that I watch every Halloween, Phantom of the Opera. And it's a movie that we should talk about on the streams one day. And I know you don't like Nosferatu for some reason, Helmet, but I love Nosferatu, and I do want to go into that one too. So, but yeah, Phantom of the Opera, Nosferatu, those movies. So yeah. So, no, I'll watch it later because I might get. Okay, cool. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I just pulled out the transformation scene for Legal Extraordinary Gentlemen, but I don't want to play it because I don't know if I get struck playing it. So Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's currently playing on the side of me right now. Um, but yeah, I a lot of fans they hated this movie, so I don't know. Reminds me of the Hulk. I'm watching the transformation scene from
No,
Legal.
I felt his portrayal of the character was good.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just looking at the transformation scene right now. It definitely has Hulk vibes to it. I like Nosferatu, but not the new crap. Yeah, I'm talking about the original 1922 version, the classic that still holds up to this day. So I wanted to review that movie one day. So, um, okay, so I think I'm caught up in the chat. Okay. Interesting conversation about all this stuff. Despite all the noises, despite all the distractions, it's been an interesting conversation. So, shout out to the chat. See, this is why we do what we do because we're putting a lot of this content in one concentrated space, and people can learn about it. And look, we all know the story of Jekyll and Hyde. I'm not here to tell you what the story is about because we know it. It's a very much told story in various media, so we get it. We get it. How about a rundown of Dark Shadow Psychology? So, okay, call me back. So, I don't want to do TV series because the short answer, time. To do a series because my time is limited as it is. Like I had to pull apart today to watch this movie. That's how tight up my time is. So, and I'm currently binge watching Stranger Things with Lady Shadowban, but to do that for these weekly streams is virtually difficult, and I don't want to put myself through that because then I won't have any content to produce. I'd rather not. I'll just stick to like doing single movies that have a lot of have a lot of prestige to them, classic, cult status, legend, you name it. So, uh, you're definitely not Manicore. You're definitely not. So, for sure. Okay. 9:43. So I'm gonna take this till probably till 10. So we got a few minutes here to go on this. But yeah, like I said, I'm not going to really go further into the story of Jekyll and Hyde in this version. I think instead, just talking about the technical merits of it, I think was the conversation and even the influences at the time. But yeah, as far as my overall review, it's a very solid movie. Good performances by Frederick March, who won the Oscar that year for playing the role of Jekyll and Hyde. He did win the Oscar for it, although he co-won it with Wallace Beery. So I think the Academy they had a problem with picking one winner, so they settled on a tie. They settled on a tie right now, so they just kept it at the two, Wallace Beery and Frederick March. But he was recognized as putting in a very solid, legendary performance. And you can see when he plays both characters, like the intensity of each role, stand, it stands out. So yeah, okay. So I guess when you bring it up, Kansas. So my girlfriend once said you should watch American Horror Story with me. I said it's not gay. Is it? Hers kind of gay. She said it wasn't. Oh, she lied. It's pretty gay. American Horror Story is overrated as a series. It's pretty overrated. I thought it had one good season, but then other seasons it got too preachy, and I'm like, yeah, forget it. I'm done with this nonsense. This is not even like I'm good. Like I'm good. So yeah, I don't consider that show to be really good. I know some people like it, but for me, I don't consider it that good. I think it's way too preachy. More preachy than it deserves to be. That's just me though. But what can I say? Um, but yeah, so March won the Academy Award. Considered one of the best versions of Jekyll and Hyde. And my personal review of it, I give it a 9 out of 10. It's to me it's that good. The performances are good. Cinematography is solid for what it is. It took some risks, especially with the Ivy character. and it pulled no punches. It surprisingly for its time, it didn't pull any punches. No, I'm gonna keep this slide because this slide is all we need to see. It tells the story. It tells enough of a story. I think it's powerful as it is. It's the best story. The single image of Frederick March looking into the soul of his real self, and the question is, which one is his real self? Well, that's the challenge, isn't it? Which one is the real self? Well, the answer is that both the real selves. They both equal one evil character because Jekyll himself is evil. I know he's supposed to be the good guy, but the thing that this movie establishes is that Jekyll created Hyde. He's responsible for Hyde, and it's a common theme with a lot of horror movies when it comes to scientists and their creations. It's the scientists who are the monsters, not the creations. Dr. Frankenstein was the monster, not his creation. Going even further down the road with Godzilla versus Balancey, when Dr. Shiragami, uh, towards the end, right before he shot, makes a speech that the men who creates these monsters, they're the monsters, not the creations. So, and this movie drives that point home very nicely. Jekyll is the monster. Hyde is just the personification of his unrestrained inhibitions. And even when Jekyll tries to do the right thing, ultimately it's up to no avail because the evil side of him has power over him. Lady Kaufla says, the story of Jekyll and Hyde, with its themes of dual nature and hidden evil, sparked discussions about the possibility of a double or hidden identity, similar to the rumors and speculation. So,
There's another text.
oh, okay. I skipped the text by Lady Shadowban.
I had to split it up.
Let's see here. Okay.
It's below it.
Okay. Surrounding Jack the Ripper, the play, a popular adaptation of the novella, even became intertwined with the Ripper case, with some suggesting the play influenced the killer. So, okay. So there you go. See how it all ties in. Jekyll and Hyde inspired the Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk was an inspiration of not just Jekyll and Hyde, but Frankenstein. And it's evident when you see the first images of the Incredible Hulk with the Frankenstein head. So yeah, the Jekyll and Hyde definitely was inspiration, but so was Frankenstein. But yeah, it just goes to show how influential the story was. So, and Mood of Hell, and we'll probably end it on this one. He says, movies that break boundaries and not just for the sake of it are always interesting and more often than not very good, especially in horror movies. I think horror movies is where horror movies and sci-fi to a certain extent are the type of genre of films where you do the experimentation of in terms of filmmaking. Because those genres allow room to experiment. So that's actually a very good point. Very good point. And yeah, I think on that note, we're gonna call it a stream. It's almost 10 o'clock. I started late because I came home late from shopping. I had to get some stuff for the house, and I needed time to sit and watch the movie because I wanted to watch the movie right before the stream because I wanted to have it fresh in my head. I feel like it was a proper way to really represent the movie and what it was about, and to talk about the things that I kind of wanted to discuss in relation to the movie while it was fresh in my head, because my mind is always all over the place, and it's just I felt like the conversation would have been more inspiring to have it just fresh in my head. So, and on that note, let me just give a quick shout out to the chat. I see Akuma just came into the chat. Hail to Akuma, Plungecast. I said hi to Plungecast and all the rest of you. I saw somebody suggest next week's pick. Somebody said the Keep. I know that Phantom of the Opera was suggested. So I'll consider those suggestions. No, you didn't win. On the contrary, Colors, you lost. You lost because we have content. We have the conversation. And we spent time talking about a great film. A good film that will inspire you people. That will inspire and, more importantly, promote creativity and the desire for good fiction. On that note, you know what time it is. You know what time it is. It's time for that ever fan favorite theme song of mine that y'all came to hear and listen to. On that note, you all have a great night, and I will see you guys Thursday for Indie Comic Outliers. I have a special guest planned for that stream, and it'll be a fun stream. It'll be an informative but fun stream, like we always do on Thursday nights. Hail to the chat. Hail to those of you that are into the fiction, that love inspiring stories, artwork, storytelling, fun, and entertainment. Hail to the chat. Bowing out with this.